they do? Super person in the face of kryptonite. Kryptonite, kryptonite, kryptonite. Those of us that know the story of, I'll just say Superman, knows that anything dealing with kryptonite will cause him to be weakened. He wasn't himself. He wasn't able to perform. And so on and so forth. I'll let you muse on that part as I move a little bit further. The love I lost. The love I lost. The love I'm talking about is far beyond lust. That's not what I'm talking about. Because while we're in lust, we're still under this muse, I, me, my, mine. Y'all ever heard that before? Your English class or whatever. But when you surpass the stage of lust, the love I lost, the love I lost. Now you're talking like this, we, us, ours. Anybody relate? Y'all know what I'm talking about? When you want to be a part of that person's life. The love I lost, the love I lost. I'm heading somewhere. The love I lost. You can't get enough of the person that you love. Let me play with y'all a little bit. This person you love, I'm doing the female side right now. I'm going to get to y'all male. I'm talking about the male past infatuation with their love. The male with their love. With the wind in their hair. Perfect alignment of their brow. The twinkle in their cat eyes. Perfectly proportioned their bust line, waistline, and that bumper that only the most expensive, luxurious automobile would look. Y'all ought to see Renee's face drop down. But this is what I heard, and I wrote it down. This is I wrote as I was hearing it. It goes on to say, not only this person, their love, they're aware of their gait, how they glide or how they strut. That only the perfect music would enhance. And y'all know a song I wrote down as a perfect music to enhance. I need y'all to let y'all's mind work. Was Outkast, The Way She Moves. Look, pray for me. The love I lost. And when this person speaks, the heavens open and the clouds move away. And there's no challenge that would even dare, in a word, kryptonite. Kryptonite, kryptonite, kryptonite. Kryptonite. Let me move a little bit further. I said let's begin, but I'm going to say let's begin again. I used to mess with Renee by saying, I was like, love is, and this is what we're talking about. I'm going to get to that. Let me see. Where do I want to go to next? I want to go to love. I want to break down this love that this person has for this individual. I don't think we give love the credit it's due. We don't. I don't think we fully understand the impact that's behind what love is. You look up love and they talk about, love being, eros love or, agape love, and I think it's familial love, different levels of love. But the love I'm talking about is all consuming. Love carries an abundance of fruits it's care, it's concern, it's good, it's doing those things that are good, honest, just, pure. Love is all consuming. It's one of the out there in the world they have what they call energy readers. I don't know if they would agree, but this is just me talking. And I want to emphasize, just like I talked about the triggers, this is my observation. This is my observation over the last year and a half or so about what love is and what love should be, or what love could be and what love ought to be, and what place love should be put in and why. But I wrote down the energy it contains is greater than. I said, even a nuclear blast, but I hesitated. You know why? Because there was a period of time that in this country there was a bomb dropped, and I thought it would be insensitive to go in that route. So I won't go any further than that. But the strength of love, all consuming, it doesn't compare to any energy, I believe, on earth. And it's really most evident in the spiritual realm. Yes, ethereal, yes, in the 3-day, but in the spiritual realm. I have here, it's so catastrophic. Now I'm talking about the loss of this love. So catastrophic to human nature itself. It affects every facet and connection, relationship established or just beginning to evolve, and its effect, the loss of this love, its effect is timeless, reaching further to the farthest north, south, east, or west. And no body of water can stop the reverberation of the loss of love. Oh, let me just muse there for a moment. Has anybody ever loved someone so? Yes, there's death, and there's a time of bereavement. That's one part of loss of a loved one. But I'm focusing more on relationship, whether they're husband or wife or girlfriend or boyfriend or best buddy, or, the relationship is platonic. But they don't want anything more to do with you. All that you had, now gone. Now gone, now gone, now gone. The reverberation of that loss, the waves of that loss, the hurts of that loss, brings about such isolation and desolation. How about this? You ever had something in your eye, something, and no matter what you do, you can't get it out? You ever have something in your shoe, you can't figure out what it is, but your toe keep touching it? You ever have an itch that no matter how you scratch, you can't fulfill that itch? The pain of losing your love. I don't care if you're the most independent person on earth. You think you can make it by yourself. But when you lose those eyes, those lips, those cheekbones, and those hips, how about especially to another? How do you resolve that hurt? Anybody ever been there? Anybody ever been there? Not accepting your calls anymore. You hear news that life has gone on for them. You cry until you can't cry anymore. No more tears. No more tears. There's nothing left. Nothing left. You toss in your bed, turning left and turning right, looking for solace, but it can't be found. I told you, triggers, triggers, triggers. And your friends, especially your close friends, they don't know what to do. They don't know what to say. If I were to give one recommendation to the friend that have people that find themselves in there, how about just making known that if you need me, I'm there? Because sometimes the words that what words? And yet this energy I'm talking about, this energy, this impactful energy called love, is handled so lightly. Let me go a little bit further. This love, I was talking about briefly the bombs and the nuclear bombs. When I used to drive trucks and all of that, if we were driving hazardous materials, we would have placards. There's nothing of the like when it comes to making known, hey, this is Love Avenue. Love even today remains unprotected, unsegregated. There's no substantial warnings or postings to traps and triggers. But what it has resulted in is this, and I'm going to see if y'all know what I'm talking about. You turn on the TV, talk about love, and you got Maury on there. I ain't talking about Maury because he's a human being. It's not him, but it's the content. He is not the father. You got all kind of dating shows on TV. Love and hip hop. People playing with one another's lives. My observation, love is nothing to be played with. And especially the loss of love. Anybody ever saw the movie Acrimony? If you haven't seen it, I recommend taking a watch. Tyler Perry, you did that thing. Good movie, good movie. How many soap operas? You got Third Party Connection. You got this one going on in secret. You got that going on. And you got dark clouds hanging over somebody's head because of this love and that love and this unrequited love and this love. Nothing to be played with. And what happens, people seeing these things, I don't ever recall when a soap opera comes on, they give you trigger warnings. I never see when, the love and hip hop, they got trigger warnings, anything along those lines. People are going through. I want to stay along the lines of lost love, hurting, don't know where to turn. Let me turn the page. As I began to say, because I was rushing myself, I used to play with T, and I was like, love is a mini splintered thing, instead of saying splendor thing. Love, yes, indeed, can be a very splendor thing, but at times a very splintering thing. The weightiness alone is along the lines of the very things I just talked about, a hurt that you can't seem to resolve. It won't go away. I mean, sleep has left you. Your tear ducts are dry. You keep looking at the phone, wondering if you're going to get that call or text. Here's a sidebar. When you find yourself freed up, liberated, I'm messing with you now, and you're all alone, and you've gone through a little bit, the hurt isn't as strong. But some of us that go through those things, we look at ourselves. I ain't talking about no mirror magic right now, but you look at yourself and you wonder why they left you. What is it about you? I want you to take time. You know, sometimes we don't listen to people when they compliment us. Like, you got some beautiful hands. You know, you got your eyebrows. Are those natural? You got some beautiful eyebrows. Or your nose. I wish I had a nose like that. Or how about this? You see a person's lips. It's like, did you do something to your lips? Did you put something in your... No, but something about the lips. Get all kinds of compliments. What I'm getting at is this. When you're left alone and you begin to muse on yourself, take courage. Somebody complimented your hands. Go off to yourself and look at your... Sorry, rub it. Yes, I do have... Look in the mirror and look at them lips. Nice and plump. Encourage yourself. Build yourself up. I am worthy. I am of value. That's just my sidebar. I know it hurts. But who knows if an avenue is not being opened up for, how did the song say, a sweeter love. How about that? How about that? Let me move a little bit further. Because I was like, how does that connect it with kryptonite? I'm getting there. I'm getting there. The loss of love. Like I said, love all-consuming. Love covers so many areas of life. You know, if there's no love in the person's heart, they don't care anything about you. There's no concern. There's no, they're not even looking to salve you in any way. They're not, and it's not just a relationship now. Love is all consuming, carries many fruits. It deals in relationship. It deals in, I don't know, even your interaction with your coworkers, how they have concern and their concern of your well-being. All that is all inclusive around love. Love loss causes a crashing detriment to multiple lives, unions, relationships, commitments, and any efforts to advance peace over war. I have down here, this is the word I was reaching for a few minutes ago. Bear with me, you guys. It's forbidden loves, forbidden loves. Love is love. And when that love is lost, it can be so catastrophic. But here's the thing. Not only catastrophic to you, but catastrophic to families, children, causing broken homes. But how about this even more still? Because they make light of it in movies. When someone finds out, based on a movie, that their wife is seeing another man, or a woman is seeing another man. Sometimes premeditation comes into play. There's talk of murder, conspiracies, poisonings, attacks on the opposing families. When there's a loss of love, especially in married homes, finances are affected. Financial stability at all levels. There's all type of stresses, internal and external stresses. Family members disowning one another. Anybody, can y'all see that? The loss of love. The loss of love. Catastrophic. Not only broken families and broken homes, but depression, anxiety, deep-seated anger and bitterness, resentment, unforgiveness, rejection, stress on the heart, Sometimes, God forbid, suicide. Love is an energy not to be played with. Love is foundational to life itself. Like I said, there's so many areas of love. How you entreat people. It doesn't have to be an intimate type of love. It doesn't have to be a familial love or family love. It can be a total stranger. But how we entreat people falls under the category of love. What we put out is what we're going to get back. That's good, bad, and indifferent. Love is foundational. It is life itself. Without love, the consequence is potentially total destruction, complete desolation, and the end to life itself. Where there's no love, where's life? Where there's no love, where's peace? God forbid. Let me move a little bit further. Love was so important. Those of us that come from a Christian background, love was so important to God. Those of us that have that Christian background will remember this scripture. It says, "For God so loved the world." It's another sidebar, if you will, but a very important one for those of us that are Christians. Very important one. For God so loved the world that He gave what? His only begotten Son. That Son that came by way of not conception. Huh? Because Mary didn't have the baby Jesus the normal way. That seed was planted. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about Joseph in that matter. Woo! But God loved the world so. He saw that the world was headed to desolation and destruction. He said, wait a minute. Those of us that believe, He made us. He knew where we were headed. And He had to come up with a remedy. And that's where Mary came on the scene. By His design, by His plan and purpose, He caused a seed to be planted in Mary. And Mary brought forth that child when he was full and a full adult. He brought redemption and deliverance to the world. And that all came because God loved us. Let me move a little bit further. We had a grandchild to come into the room, and Renee had to deal with that. But again, well, Charles, everything that you said, we can see, we kind of understand where you're going, but where is kryptonite? Where does that come in at? Let me get back to the women. The man looking at the woman. Those eyes, those lips, those cheekbones and hips. Or the woman looking at that man. Those dimples, those pimples, those gentles, and those lentils. Use your mind and go from there. Satan, the adversary of our souls, is fully aware of how essential love is in the world. And he looks for ways and opportunities to creep in unawares to cause havoc and destruction in people's lives. And sometimes, more times than not, he uses relationships to bring havoc, destruction, division, confusion, murderings, premeditations, poisonings, destructions, disowning, unrest, upheaval, stress into people's lives. Because if they're focused on that, they can't be focused on his activities. He's a deceiver of the brethren. He's looking for ways to creep in, to bring harm. He's the kryptonite. He's the cause of kryptonite in your life. We have to be careful of the decisions we make. Who we let into our lives, who we open our heart unto, we have to know where they are. I'm reminded. There's a story of a judge whose name was Samson back in the day. God's chosen people were in bondage, of course, again, because of sin. They were in bondage for 40 years under the Philistines. During this period of time, Samson, who were part of the people of God, or the chosen people of God, had found him someone he wanted to marry. He told his parents that, hey, there's a girl over there. I believe she was a Philistine. And he wanted her in her life. And parents during that period of time had certain customs that they followed. And they began to make preparation for Samson's selection. What they didn't know, that it was a part of God's ultimate design. But here's what I want to hone in on, what happened during this period of time. Samson, on his way to see this woman, or I'll say this girl, he ran into a young lion. And he slew the lion with his hands. And when his parents was with him, I believe, I might have the story misconstrued just a little bit, but you do the research. And while they were on their way to see this woman, Samson took a detour. He wanted to see this lion. I guess he was, maybe, proud of himself. The Spirit of the Lord came upon him and gave him the strength to slew this lion. And he noticed that it was full of bees and honey. So he took of the honey. He ate some. When he got to his parents, he gave them some and they ate. When the time of the customary, meeting of the family and of the woman that he wanted to marry came, he went. And they gave, I believe, the woman to be 30 men as a part of her entourage. So when Samson saw them, he said, listen, he said, I have a riddle. He said, if you can solve this riddle, he said, I'll give you 30 pieces of linen and 30 garments to wear. He said, but if you can't solve it within 7 days, then you're going to give me 30 pieces of linen and 30 garments. So the feast was to last 7 days. And this woman, his wife to be, kept pressing Samson, what is the riddle? Tell me what the riddle is. It was about the 4th day. And Samson said, look, I didn't even tell my parents the answer to the riddle. Why are you pressing me? And she kept pressing him. And then finally on the 7th day, I guess Samson figured he was out in the clear by this time. He decided to tell this woman the answer to the riddle. Because the men had came to her and said, look, if you don't tell us the answer to this riddle by pressing your betrothed to be, then we're going to burn you and your family. And they're the Philistines. These aren't God's chosen people. So she felt a duress to get the answer. So on the 7th day,